Welcome to another edition of erelearnsart. It's been a while, so I hope you're doing well. In this episode, I'm going to be documenting my second attempt at painting cartoon custom sneakers, which is a style that has been around for a few years that makes sneakers look as if they've been drawn in a school kid's notebook. I'm starting out with this pair of white Adidas Grand Court 2.0s. I should mention that these sneakers are very special as they are going to my sister-in-law who, besides providing my family with two beautiful kids, also helped save my younger brother's life, which I will be eternally grateful for. She saw the pair I painted myself and loved them, and every time I mention painting a pair for her, she gets very excited. I am by no means an expert. There are people who are experts out there, but my process is showing what I as an amateur go through and the learning process as an amateur as I attempt to level up my art skills. The first thing in this project was to get the shoes prepped. That meant removing both the laces, and I figured it was a good idea to remove the insoles as well. As someone who owns a custom guitar company, I'm no stranger to wet sandpaper. Upon reviewing one of the professionals, it didn't appear I needed the water to soften the paper like you do when wet sanding a guitar finish. The grits used were 400, 800, and 1500, and that's the order you want to use them in as well, which can also be referred to as a sanding schedule. Here I'm flexing the shoe to pre-crease it. With the first pair I painted, I found this is a necessary step to prevent cracking in frequently creased parts of the leather. Another tip I picked up was when sanding, try to avoid the stitching as much as possible by folding the sandpaper into a smaller piece. Now we're going to use the Angelus leather preparer and deglazer. Since this can be harmful to you, I recommend personal protective equipment such as latex gloves and some sort of mask, as well as a well-ventilated room. You can use an old rag to apply it. Here, I'm appropriately using a piece of an old sock. What we're doing is we're removing some factory protective finish that the factory puts on these shoes. Make sure to let the deglazer dry. Now, in case you don't know how to safely remove gloves, this is how I was taught in first aid class. Many years ago. Pinch inside the palm of one hand and ball that up in a hand that still has a glove on it. Then, take 2 fingers from your now bare hand and slide them inside the remaining glove and pull it off towards your fingers so it becomes inside out, with the other glove still inside. It's good to practice this before getting gross chemicals on your hands. If you're unsure of how to do this, you should consult a professional video. I'm not responsible for any unsafe choices that you choose to make. Here I'm applying vinyl tape to the soles of the shoes. This will make it easier to keep paint off those soles. I'm pressing down with my fingernail to get it to adhere to a little ledge where the midsole meets the upper part of the shoe that we're going to paint. I do have to say, I wasn't really happy with this masking tape. The adhesion wasn't great, and it can pull off paint if it's left on it for too long. I was hoping to use it for cleaner lines, but found it was just better on this pair to do my best to freehand. Now I'm going to use an X-Acto knife here, and I want to say 2 things. First, be safe when using a sharp blade, and a sharper blade makes the next thing I'm going to say much easier. Second, don't push too hard into the shoe or you will risk damaging the leather. With a sharp knife, you really shouldn't have to apply much pressure at all. Now we're ready for the fun part. This is some palette paper, which you can pick up at most hobby art supply stores. I suppose you could use an actual palette. I have a septic system, so I try not to put more acrylic in that than absolutely necessary, since it's basically plastic.
And announcing our first color, Fire Red! Pay no attention to the sterling silver, which I don't end up using.
I also use a small applesauce cup and this brush cleaner with some warm water on the side. It's good to have some paper towels handy as well. Ask me how I know. I am hand painting these, and the quality of your brushes is really important. My wife gifted me this set from Angelus back at Christmas, and it really does make a difference. If you watch my digital to traditional acrylic video, you'll see I'm using them in there as well. Always shake your paints, especially when they've been sitting on the shelf for a while. I should mention I creeped on my sister-in-law's social media and tried to see what color she wore the most of, and it appeared to be red. Here we go. Prepare yourself for a shock. I'm not really this fast at painting, the video is sped up. Which is ironic because it is imperative, I said it 3 times so you know it's important, that you take your time when hand painting. Your first coat will not cover everything, and you will still see some white poking through. Take your time, and don't glob it on. If you see brush strokes, try to follow the lines of the shoe and gently stretch those strokes out. I'm using a thick piece of what is essentially black cardstock here to try to protect the insides of the shoe while painting the tongue. It's pretty easy to mess up on this tongue and paint the sock liner area. You'll see I don't push too far to the edge, which is something I learned when painting the first pair. You'll see that there are a few places where I will go over where I want the red paint. We'll be able to cover these up, but I swear to you that this always happens when I start to rush and pressure myself. Are you picking up on a pattern here of what I'm trying to tell you? I found this type of stroke was the best way to get under these areas with as straight a line as possible. Let's talk about cleaning your brush, which preserves its longevity and helps save you money. You want to take a bit of hand soap and squirt it into your palm. Then you want to brush gently back and forth and rinse with warm water. When the water is clear, you have cleaned the paint out of it. Thanks to my amazing wife for teaching me that, even if I don't always do it right. Let's see where we're at after these guys have dried for a little while. Now that this section is done, I'm going to fold the tongue back inside to protect it from our next layers of paint. These pipettes are really helpful as pouring straight from the bottle can become very messy very quickly. This container is where we're going to mix a special color for these shoes. And the colors are lilac, neon purple, and a little bit of white for opacity. I was having trouble getting this to mix, so I used a small toothpick, but then realized I might not have enough paint, so I made a mess. All we're doing here is painting over the white parts we left earlier. If you made it this far in the video, comment below what comic book character this color combination reminds you of. It's kind of a tongue twister. Same stroke as before when we were getting under those hard to reach places with a straight line near the sock liner and lacing. Now for our hero of these shoes, our black. Paint. We're going to use a small detail brush to apply this, and for the most part we're just going to go over the areas where they're stitching. I attempted to use the piece of cardstock here to protect from any black paint that would go over where I wanted it to be, but it didn't work out very well and kind of made it more difficult to freehand paint, so I stopped using it. If I had my druthers, these lines would look a lot more precise. Again, mistakes would happen when I would try to rush, and for a thinner, straighter line, you want very little pressure on the brush. I also used a technique I learned from one of the pros, which is to stabilize with my pinky finger on my brush hand and brush stroke while exhaling. I also alternated to find what was easier between drawing from my shoulder and my wrist. If you sketch, you understand what that means, but for those of you who don't, sketching from your shoulder is usually more broad and sweeping, whereas from your wrist and fingers, you're getting into shorter, little detailed lines. So we could leave it there and it would look alright, but I really want to exaggerate the shapes in the shoe. So I'm outlining with the back of the brush some areas where I'm going to add some more black lines. Again, these won't be precise, but they'll go with the overall design. You can also see how I did this on the original pair, which I'm trying to both copy and improve upon. Again, this is my second time attempting this, so I'm trying to be patient with myself and not too hard on myself. Sorry for the out of focus. A few times I wouldn't be aware I was losing the shot because I was too focused on painting. You can see here on the back how I have outlined those letters. We're going to deal with that in a little bit. Okay, now on to the Adidas logo. Originally I was going to make this silver, but I actually thought that gold was a cooler match with the red and the purple. We're just going to outline the indents of the letters with a toothpick. Again, this won't be precise, but it will add to that sketched out looking style. And again, take your time, you don't have to glob it on, just take little by little and you can go back over and make more passes. It was a little awkward to film the process of me outlining the logo on the back of the shoe, but it was the exact same process as on the front. At one point this paint got a little splotched, but again we'll use it as a happy accident, as Bob Ross would say, to go with the overall aesthetic. You could fix it if you wanted though with just some more red and black paint. I tried to get this tape pull filmed well for the ASMR people, but I don't know how well I did. Another tip I learned from watching the pros is scratching off any excess paint with a toothpick that might have snuck through where our tape wasn't as tight as we would have liked. I found that this is best done before applying the clear protective coat on top, and that you can actually use some of the masking tape from earlier to remove the pieces as you scratch those pieces of paint off. I'm using a matte clear coat here, which requires 4 coats. Make sure you are giving those coats time to dry in between. Again, ask me how I know. There are 4 levels of finishes that Angelus sold on their website, and they describe each one. As I was just emulating what the pros were doing, I didn't want to try anything new just yet. And here's what the finished pair looked like.